I'm like, I'm sorry, I give you mean faces. Even you, I'll be like, sorry, I was a little standoffish. But it's just how I've survived, by being standoffish. And that was the only way I didn't get like banged.
I'm a f***ing animal! I'm a f***ing animal!
Are you ready to enter the animal status? What's up, folks? I'm DJ Wonder, and guess what? Complete Animals is back. It was a brief hiatus. I'm going through some things, but I figured this is cheaper than therapy, so I'm getting back to it. We're back, Complete Animals, and I wanted to have somebody on as my first guest that I was interested in because she's an innovative person, and I'm trying to talk to people that I'm also kind of jealous of, so she fits that criteria as well. She's also creative, and her name is Norma Moreno, aka Norma Now. What's up?
What's up? Oh, I gotta hear the sound effects.
I was just clapping, that's all. Don't worry about it. Nothing special. Yeah, man. So
Thank you for having me as your first guest. I am so impressed. This is a beautiful setup. I am so impressed.
Well, thank you. It takes many years to get a moving background like this installed into the studio. So I'm glad we were able to do it. I said a couple things that you do, but also your bio says that you're into wellness. We'll talk about that later, man. It's all good. Let's just talk about where you came from. I want to talk about your history. Where were you born?
I was born and raised in Miami.
Miami, Florida. Any brothers or sisters?
I have one sister. No brothers, I wish.
Okay. And then what about you? What's your earliest memory of like media? First, like TV show, music, anything that you really liked as a kid?
Me and my sister, we were always really into music. I took a lot to, I always got into what my sister liked. I will never forget, my sister was like the first one who put me on like MIA, and she was into like Oasis and the Beatles, my cousin as well. So my dad, he was really into disco. He was always playing records. Jackson 5 and Rick James, and there was always music playing in the house. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we're not a musical family, but like we're music lovers. And so my grandfather, he always had like opera records playing. So yeah, I was just always around music, and I guess inspired and motivated by that. But me and my sister, we're like best friends. So I guess that's like the earliest memories I have of just media and music. But we were always, I feel like even from like working in my jobs, like I've been a fan of like pop culture. And I think naturally, like being in the industry, we all become like observers. But I'm truly like a cool, like observer, cool hunting, like of what's going on around me. I think I've just always been like that.
In the same way. I didn't have any brothers or sisters, but so basically media raised me, and that's the problem I have now. Is that it's messed up my mind. What did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was little, I wanted to be like, when I was little, I wanted to be like an opera singer, which is so random. And then when I hit like middle school, high school, I wanted to be a journalist, actually, like a writer. Mm-hmm. And then I tried to study that, but I didn't do well in my classes, so I had to finesse and change.
All right. I mean, do you sing still? Like, did you have a good voice, or do you have a good voice, do you think?
I mean, I would like to think so, but I was like in chorus, and I got accepted to go to like a special school. It's a specialty school for people who are, I guess, gifted in chorus. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm capping or if that was like actual, I was talented, but yeah, I don't know. I liked to sing. I don't know.
I was in chorus, and I thought I could kill it. They offered like solos every so often, and I was gonna take one, and I thought, man, I'm gonna kill this Billy Joel song. But then I tried to do it by myself, and I didn't do very well. So I'm glad I didn't take it. But I was a chorus kid as well, man. Chorus was always fun, and that leads me when you talk about that school. Like, did you ever want to be a creative? Like, did they have like art schools down here, and like what was the process of like getting into a school like that?
They have like magnet schools here. Mm-hmm. So when you're in like middle school, you can choose like a path, and if you're doing well in like some kind of program, then you could like go that path. So I just remember in 5th grade, they're like, oh, do you want to go to this like specialty school for like, performing arts? And I turned it down because I wanted to be with my friends instead. And so I didn't go to this magnet program, which is so stupid.
Man, that would have been my dream. I wish I would have had that option growing up to go to some kind of art school, but just went to regular old public school in Delaware, man. That's where I came from.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is that where you're born and raised from?
Delaware, yeah. And
Where
then
in Delaware?
Georgetown, Delaware, and then Rehoboth Beach. So farmland and then the beach resort area.
Then how'd you end up in New York?
17 years old, I went to New York City. And
Like you said, I hate whatever. I'm over Delaware. I'm out of here.
I mean, I always wanted to I always wanted to go to city stuff. Like I grew up at the beach, and that's my parents loved going to vacations at other beaches and stuff. I just wasn't a beach person. I wanted to go to like museums and go to like Philadelphia and stuff like that. And they're not city people. So I just wanted to get out of here. And New York was just appealing to me. I mean, you chose not to go to a school because of your friends. I chose to go to a school because of music and a music scene. And at the time, like New York hip hop was like the biggest thing ever. You had to go there no matter what region you were from.
Like it was like a magnet pulling you.
Yeah, you had to be. Like wherever I wanted to go, I wanted there to be a good like music scene around it, whatever city it was or whatever college. And I just ended up going to New York. That's where I ended up. Hofstra University, man. I wanted to go to NYU, didn't get in, so ended up going to Hofstra for film production.
Oh, it explains it here.
Yeah, another waste. Did you go to college at all?
I did. I went to all of the colleges, all of the things. That's why, it's funny because I think after the fact, like I think college plays a role for everyone. If anything, it's just like an experience period that you learn from. But I went to Miami-Dade College here. I went to a school. I did my freshman year in Mobile, Alabama, because I have some family over there. That's where I studied journalism. And then I ended up ending at University of Miami, and I graduated there. So, but what's crazy is all that money spent, which I'm like not paying at all yet. I've like deferred my student loans like 10,000 times. But I don't need that. No one's asked me for a diploma like ever, and I don't even know if I have bragging rights because like who cares? But I guess it's just a learning experience.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing as that. If I was to go back, I would still do it because I didn't know anybody where I went to school and in the industry, entertainment industry at all. So it helped me learn that a lot via internships and just having to deal with people who I don't know on a daily basis. But as for school itself, man, I definitely would have done way more internships or way more just like apprenticeships with random people in the industry that I wanted to be in or whatever facet of the entertainment industry. So college, I think, is great in certain aspects, and maybe other ways you can probably just jump right into what you want to do at this point.
I think about that stuff now because like even like I think it was okay to have internships back then, and I did like mad internships. I interned at like down here in Miami they have MTV Latin America, and I interned there. I like believe it or not, I interned at like DJ Khaled's recording studio for a little bit for We the Best. Like I interned at Oh Wow, like an art gallery here, and that's how I met Raul. It's a pretty prominent art gallery that was going on, and I met Raul and I met Press and all the Peach Fuzz guys. But internships are the shit, and now they get, nobody wants to do them. But sometimes I think I'm like, I would love to intern for someone now because like I want to learn. I think I'm at the age where I'm like, I want to learn new things. Like I would love to intern for like a jeweler.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to make jewelry.
Yeah.
They're not like little like crystals and stuff, like rings and things. I'm like, I would like to do that. Or like I'd like to intern for like I don't know, like I guess people used to do like recording studios and stuff like that, like things like that, like to learn new things.
I mean, I want to do like interior design or something. I need to like tag along with somebody. Actually, I need to intern with somebody who actually makes money. Yeah, that's what I want to intern with. Somebody who makes money. None of this stuff that I'm actually interested in, but things that actually will generate profit at some point. Okay, so let's talk about like where you actually worked. You did work in human resources at one point, right?
Oh God, someone's been on my LinkedIn or something.
I don't know where I found that.
Yeah. My mom used to work at a rehab center, and so I got a job like helping out there. And then I just did marketing stuff always. I always got pushed into like, as a Miami person, you can take the path of being marketing, and then you get into promotion, and then you become a promoter, and then you become a, I guess you could go further and further that way. But I met a promoter, and who was a beautiful angel at that time, and he put me on, and he had a marketing agency. He was kind of finessing everybody, but he had a marketing agency. And so after that, human resource time was just like my mom. But after that, I worked at a marketing agency, and then alongside that, I always worked at I've worked at like every sneaker store in Miami. Like,
oh, we're gonna run through everything. Don't you worry, I know it all. Just in case you don't think I do, I know it all. But what I was gonna ask you about the human resources thing, like, what do you think? You know what the job market is like in 2024? When the last time you had to find a job was like what, 2022, or you had to like do an interview or something like that?
yeah, I mean, I just basically joined the job market again. So yeah, I mean, it's rough out there.
Yeah. I can't even get like a call back like for an interview, you know what I mean? Like, then, so I don't know how people are doing it nowadays, but good luck to each and every one of you. I hope you make it. This is a human resources person that started everything right here. You also worked at Live Nation for a little bit down here with the Fillmore.
Oh yeah, that's where I did an internship, and then eventually I think I had like a small little job there, but I interned there too. I'm telling you, I interned everywhere.
Yeah, and then you did social media for a hotel group, right?
Yes, that's the marketing agency I was.
Okay, so that's important because I think that's something that we still use on a daily basis, and you use it as well, social media. Yeah. What's the difference between back then running a social media account and 2024 running a social media account?
I feel like it was so hard back then because it was like the wild west. Like nobody knew what they were doing. So we were like, I don't even know. We didn't have a photographer, did we? We didn't have photographers. I had like a graphic designer maybe. We were just finessing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like things were just like uncharted waters, and there was nothing to go off of. But I think about that time a lot because if I had started, like I had a blog back then, if I had been consistent with it, even if someone had a YouTube back then, like no way, like duh, by now you would be popping because it's been like 10 years of doing your YouTube. You're going to be like popping if you're consistent with it, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, because I've been doing stuff for a long time and never really popped off. Man. But maybe I just keep on trying like everybody says, right? Just never quit. That's the only way to make it.
Yeah, you got to be consistent. I don't know if in your 10-year career you've been consistent. I mean, I think you have, but I don't know. Honestly. I feel like social media is like, you just got to try every single angle until you crack some kind of code. I don't get it. But we were finessing honestly back then. Like this guy, the name Tatanka, he's like a South Beach legend. He used to run Favela Beach on Wednesdays. Did you ever see about that?
I never went to it, but I heard about the party
at the W. It was a classic party at the W, and he was the one who ran that marketing agency with the hospitality group. He was finessing, and I'm talking about like out of college, I was making like every 2 weeks. I went from working at American Apparel. I've just worked everywhere.
Okay.
I worked from American Apparel working like every 2 weeks. My check would be like $500-$600. And then I started working with this guy, Tatanka, with his finesse. And he got me like a check like every 2 weeks making like $2,000, which is kind of crazy, like as being like a whatever, 22, 23-year-old. So we ran that until the well, like to the well and ran.
You gotta take advantage as much as possible.
I learned a lot from him.
I see a lot of marketing places do that, especially places I've worked for. I've seen them take advantage of certain, because every company has to give away a certain amount of marketing dollars per year or whatever, and they write it off and everything. So just take as much as possible. Throw the craziest party at the one hotel. Who cares? You know what I mean? But now, like for social media, like a manager, you could put one post that somebody disagrees with, and if you're in like a Fortune 500 company, like drive your stock down. Like, so I think it's a little more pressure in 2024. You think?
Yeah, no, I definitely do think so. You have to be, respectful and like aware of everything. It's funny when you see people like put on their accounts like views are of my own. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, back then they weren't even paying attention to me like Norma. It was just like, oh, she throws some parties or something. But we were just finessing.
All right. Well, let's talk. You talked about you had a blog. Let's get into the real deal. We're going to talk about the parties and everything else. So it's time to. There we go, baby.
What is this? This is.
Now we're in my lair. No, no, no. There's no sound effects that went along with it. Don't worry.
The layer sounds.
It's the same. All right. So
So funny.
yeah, this is the layer. Okay, so as you were like interning and working American Apparel doing this stuff, you also had interests outside of that, and you started a blog, and I guess a kind of an event company as well, your own kind of event.
Yeah, we're also finessing. I think I don't know if it's a Miami thing, but we've been finessing for a long time here. I don't know if you're talking about, you've been a long time to see if you haven't made it or not, but I don't know if wouldn't say I've made it, but I've been finessing and I'm tired.
Dude, I think I'm tired too. So this was the blog era where everybody was kind of either having like a Tumblr or something like that, or your own website. And then, it started getting to a point where like it was called the blog era for music industry that I was in, is because like all these blogs were getting like invited to parties before I was, or getting records before I would, as a DJ, and that really irked me back then. But I understand.
Did you hear the blog era, the podcast?
I lived through it. I don't need to listen to it.
I know. Well, I heard it. Shout out to them. But it's so funny that you say that, because I definitely feel like I heard that there's an episode where the DJs are like complaining about that.
Oh yeah, dude, it was bad because what's the whole point? That's why we're doing this. We want to get to the party first. And who are these nerds that know how to like make things, like put JPEGs on something and they're getting it? All right. What was like the music and culture that you were into that made you want to start a blog?
Well, I feel like like I said earlier, I'm truly like a fan of the culture, watching, observing everything. And so maybe like from MySpace to message boards to we got that new whatever, you downloading mixtapes. Like I was one of those people. I'm one of those girls who enjoyed the consuming of the culture, and throughout all that, I'm a hype beast, right? Like I love buying sneakers. I'm listening to Lupe Fiasco. It's like Kanye West on his World Press, on his blog. His blog was popping and stuff, and I'm like loving, I don't know, Bape or something. I wish I could buy it. Like I'm that little kid, and at that time I met a friend named Asia. She became my best friend, and we were like maybe just turned 21, and we were just wilding out, doing the most Miami shit. She was not from here. She's from like from the DMV area, Virginia. We were just being reckless, and we're like, we started going out to live on Wednesdays. They used to have a popping party, and like it was like Kid Cudi and like Kid Sister performing on Wednesdays, and Iggy Azalea when she was cool. And it was just like a different era. And so we decided to like start blogging and talking about, we were just getting into so much crazy experiences that we're like, we should blog about it. And so we would like, put up pictures and do little diaries of what we were doing. But then also she was into like doing like nail art or getting nail art done. So she would, I want to do a post about that. She was in school for clothing, so she was, talk about her designs and stuff. And I was like, there's a new Nike SB dropping on Friday, or like, Lupe Fiasco dropped this new album, and stupid stuff. MIA's coming out with a new song. Like, so we were doing all that, and then people in Miami were sending us like, someone would be like, I have a new song coming out, review it, or hey, I have an event this Friday, can you put up the flyer? And so it kind of like warped into like, okay, we were getting hit up to host things like, can you come host our showcase? And so it went from like that to like, art, there was a thing called Art Basel, and we're like, something's coming up, like we should do a little showcase during Art Basel. And then that was our first party.
Okay. Back to being like a hype beast. No, because we're gonna talk
I love
talk
being
about
a
it.
hype beast. So.
Yeah, but this is me personally. Also, I was into sneakers from the very beginning of Nike SBs and everything else. I visited the Supreme store the first time I ever went to New York when I was like 14 years old in school. And so I was always like into that stuff, but it's something that like I think a characteristic that comes along with that, for at least for me, is that I was very like, I don't want anybody else knowing the stuff that I have, or like if this person has that, I'm like, I don't like this. Did you feel that way at all?
Like gatekeeping before getting
yes
gatekeeping.
I hate that word, but like TikTok language in general I hate. But yeah, that exactly. Did you feel that way? Like you didn't want some like girl that you thought was generic, like wearing the same sneakers as you, that you like camped out for or something like that?
But you know what was so cool about that time, and I'm sure like old heads would say the same about whatever their time was, but that time we were just such a small niche population. Like you were on like Nike Talk or whatever, and it wasn't like anyone knew about it. Like in my high school, it was like 10 of us who were like thought sneakers were cool and knew where to even buy them. You know, there was only like at that time Shoe Gallery was the only spot to get like the exclusive tier 1 whatever Nikes, you know, and that's why everyone was camping outside. There was only one store, South Beach, I forgot it right now, South Beach, that had all the Nike SBs. Like there was only we knew which stores, like which champs was gonna get that Jordan drop, like, but it was only a couple of people. So I felt like you didn't feel scared to like let go of like the code because nobody else was interested or cared about like the secret, you know. So it was just such a beautiful time where it was like you actually could enjoy like the thing you liked because you felt special, like you were like that. Oh, you like if you're at your family function, it's like, oh, you know, Norma, she's into like those funky shoes. And now it's like your aunt is wearing the Panda Dunks or something. You're like, Jesus Christ, it's not special no more.
All I wanted was for like crazy neon colors and all that stuff to come back because they never made
Remember those Fresh Prince hats?
So the retro kids, all those guys, like they're they used to
active in them that era.
Yep. And then once they started like seeing that people really liked it, when they would put out like a hot pink shoe every so often, like guys would actually buy it, and then they started making it and then made it like general releases for everything, and it just got messed up. Now I wear all black, so you know what I mean. You go completely opposite. And so how was it being down in Miami? Because most of that stuff was going on in New York City and in LA. So what was it like being on the third coast down here?
I felt like it was, like I said, just such a small, intimate community. We had real ones know, like Dila, Mary Angel. There was like a small, super sneakerhead community. There was like sneaker battles. Like Keen One was like DJing these sneaker battles. It was like, I'm telling you, it was like 50, 100 people that would like get up, and there was, of course, like the sneaker pimps and all that stuff. That's where like a lot, and it wouldn't even get that popping. It was like maybe 500 kids or something at max throughout the day. I used to help promote whatever at the end of the day, the sneaker pimps. But it was just it was like a different world. And it was really a special time. But I felt like I always have been like an advocate for like Miami is cool. And when I was younger and wearing sneakers and into this culture, people would always be like, oh, you're not from New York? I'm like, what? No, I'm from Miami. Like Miami people can be cool too. Like I'm cool. So I just feel like Miami people know what's up. Like I felt very proud to be like, Lupe Fiasco, MIA, like I'm from Miami. But yeah, I think it was very interesting. I loved it. But of course I always looked at like, damn, New York. And that's why like, of course I still want to move there like now.
Oh, don't worry, we'll talk about that too. But speaking of that, so you're friends with 40 Ounce Van. Did you ever get to go to a 40 Ounce bounce up in New York City?
No, I never did.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, it's the first time I ever felt old at a party. First time.
Did you get to do Under the Bridge?
Yeah, I was at Riverside Park or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was just like underage kids drinking 40s and stuff like that. And I don't know, I was just like, man, I got to get out of here.
Is that really what it is?
Literally 40 ounce bounce or some kind of like liquor you got from
beverage.
Yeah, like 99 bananas or whatever that stuff is, whatever kids drink. I don't know, man. That's what it was like. And I was just like, all right, man, I got to get out. But you know, his blog and stuff, I guess you were checking that out. That was part of the whole, I guess,
like
streetwear culture.
Era. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like that Tumblr era.
We never even told anybody the name of your blog. So is it Two Dope B Words or is it Two Dope Chicks? What do you use? Because like I think on your resume you put Two Dope Chicks, so that's probably just to be politically correct. Or like, so what's the actual website? Was it?
It was Two Dope Bitches. Yes, that was not so. I mean, yeah, we had to. I guess poke around that, and then it was so funny because of course like Two Dope Boys was like a big blog at that time, but I promise we didn't know about it when we made it. But
they were very territorial.
Yeah, they were. They didn't know.
You had words with Mecca, or he never spoke to you directly, but he spoke around the issue.
I think he might have, but also like we're just little silly small fry here in Miami. Like there was nothing like, oh my God, we're coming for you. But I feel like I definitely have like talked shit online with him. Not bad. Like I'm sure I've met him. Or followed him or follow him or he follows me or something. I don't know, but it's just so crazy how that's like a land before time.
Yeah.
Even on the Blog Era podcast, they talk about him, how he's like incognito
And I was wondering if you guys ever spoke after, if you ever like hired him for an event or anything like after that, but guess not. All right. Well, guess what? Let's check out what some of the stuff that you did on your blog.
Should I put these things on?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm gonna play a little bit of music, but I don't know if we can do too much because I'm gonna get.
So
All right, check it out.
embarrassing.
This was like the very, very beginning, right?
Oh Lord, yes, this is so embarrassing. Also, I'm so skinty. Yeah, I don't know why we thought this was so cool to record, but this is
That's
Wynwood.
dope.
This is Wynwood right behind Koyo.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, oh, because Wynwood was all getting like graffiti-ized. And we're like, oh, let's go put up some graffiti. And so this is me and my friend trying to put like some graffiti up. And
You guys have the biggest sticker up there.
yeah,
That's dope.
yeah. We went to like a vinyl place, and I don't even know like who's filming this and stuff. I definitely edited on like,
Look, here we are in Wynwood when it was good.
yeah, no, this is Wynwood. This is literally right behind Wynwood Walls, the other side of Wynwood Walls.
That's dope. So that's like
That's so cool.
you guys were getting up there. You know, I didn't know
Yeah,
you were
we're doing
aspiring
our-
graffiti artists.
We're doing our street. That's our street promotion. No, me and Asia were in the streets. We were literally passing out. I still would do it. We would go on cars and flyer cars ourselves and stuff.
What's some of the highlights of parties during your first big party was at Gramps, right? That you guys did.
Well, our first party literally was the one that we did during Art Basel with like that Pharrell ended up showing at, like that we did with Virgil and them. I literally hit up 40. I hit up his like on his Tumblr. He had his email where you could submit like titty pics, and I instead submitted like a proposal for him to come down. I paid him like $500 or something. I don't even remember. And I was like, come down, and I'm throwing this party. I emailed like literally like Virgil at KanyeWest.com and asked, if he could come down, that I was a fan. And so I booked him as Ben Trill.
And true, yeah.
And it was him, Matthew Williams, and
Ian, or he was
damn, I'm dropping the name. Heron Preston.
Oh, here. Okay,
And
yeah,
I paid
yeah.
them like maybe $3,000 or something for all three of them, because they were coming down to Basel anyways. And then I was like a fan of Gianni Lee. He was a really cool graphic designer, and he had this really cute brand that I used to fuck with. So I asked him if he could help me design the flyer, and then he designed the flyer. He kills it, always on graphics. He ended up coming and DJing. And then I was dating a guy at the time, so he helped me with a lot of stuff too. And we were really into trap music at that time because it was called trap music. And so this is like karate chop era, like future. So there was a guy named Daniel, Heroes and Villains, who was doing like trap.
I know Daniel.
Yeah, like trap. It's called like festival trap
Trappy
now.
DM.
Yeah.
Back then. Yeah.
But he was less DM. He was more trappy back then.
Yeah.
And so we booked him, and then we threw this party, and it was really fun. I literally, we probably did it with like $3,000, $5,000. Probably asked my mom for money and stuff like that. And we threw this party, and Pharrell showed up, and like we had Ian Connor come, and like, and Noir. It was like this clothing brand from back in the day. Like just mad, like people showed up, and we used that footage to keep rolling. But at that moment in time, I realized, I really like doing events. And then, so me and Asia, at some point, maybe we did events together for like a year or something. And then I decided I was like, I really like doing this. I'm going to do it on my own if that's okay. And then my first event was Gramps.
Okay, got you. Your personal first
Yeah,
event.
yeah.
You worked at the Unknown store, and you met somebody who I knew you from. Yes, Jules.
She worked as a hostess at Arcadia. Do you know what Arcadia is? So Live, Live Now. You know how there's a restaurant downstairs?
Yeah.
That used to be it was a club called Arcadia.
Okay.
And she was a hostess. Like she, at the, you come to the door, and she'd like make sure she'd sit you down at a table and stuff like that. So she did come in probably with LeBron's people, and they were like, oh, I don't know. So I met her probably somehow that way. And then I went to Arcadia, and then she like took care of me and sat me at a table or something. But yeah, she's always been a very interested like person. She always wants to, collaborate, and she's always interested in getting into different things. So yeah, we became friends, and I got to go along the ride of like what my life was like at that time, because like I said, it was just such a beautiful era of like, we were finessing. I feel like everything is a finesse. Like that was all just like, what are we doing here? And then we're like, what is happening now? And so we were figuring out life and together at some point, you know, but I guess we all were.
Okay. Well, back at the store, like you worked at a lot of, like you said, apparel stuff and fashion, I guess retail. What's the deal with that? Like currently, like, is there like a group chat that goes around for like these guys that work in like, you know, Midtown or
Design
like,
district.
Design District, and like they all show up at they know how to go to every party. Is there like, I just want to know the secret. That's really why I brought you on. 'Cause I want to know how these guys show up at every single party. Are they in like Soul House or something like that? Whatever, if randomly. What's the real deal? Somebody that's worked in that industry as well.
Well, I always tell people, and I feel like I definitely told you that at some point, Miami is so small. Somewhere like New York, there's so many different scenes. You could be in Brooklyn, or you could be in the city, or you could be uptown, and there's like a different cool person, a different hot girl, a different crew for that. Miami's too small. You have to come in and make a community and be a part of the community and play like an actual role. So many people that come in and start like come in from wherever, they can move from Atlanta, and they're like, hey, I want to be down. I see you doing cool stuff. Like, let's do cool stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, you want to do something? Come to everything. Come show face, be a part of stuff, you know, partake and actually get to know people, but like authentically get to know people so that they become your homies. But I call Design District like it's one big mall, and I'm a mall kid. I think it's just too like I've worked. It's maybe a gift and a curse that I went to a lot of schools when I was in high school. So I went to school in like Hialeah. I went to school in like North Miami and South Miami and Kendall, and I worked at the LeBron store. I worked at ATC, this other brand. I worked at Nike Town. I worked at Champs in Kent. I worked at like 6 sneaker stores. So I feel like I covered a lot of ground. And that's the only, if you think about it, we don't have no Supreme. We don't have any like Canal Street here. Miami's cool people or Miami's cool scene just revolves around the only cool places we have, which is like unknown. Mm-hmm. And like, I guess the Prada store or something. Like, so I don't know. I would say everyone's paying attention. I mean, I'm happy. I don't know what to call it, but they're my hypebeast scene is like my hypebeast scene. And I'm like, I don't know where to lead you guys anymore because it's not it right now in Miami. But I do think they have group chats.
Gotta be, dude. There's no way they all show up at the same spots, bro. I'm telling you. So you started not only doing your stuff, then you started promoting some of the bottle service clubs, I guess, as well. You would at least attend them. So you started being around bigger artists, maybe not some of the indie people that you were into, like you said, Iggy Azalea or like Kid Cudi or some of these guys. But like you happened to see, like maybe you were out and Lil Wayne was out and something like that. And you were interacting, I guess, with some of these people at the time.
I feel like it's just a Miami thing, but at some point when I guess started entering like the nightlife industry, you become a promoter. So I'm just a promoter, and so I'm just like a hoarder. I'm a flocker, a shepherd.
I thought you were gonna say something like you're a gatherer of whores.
A gatherer of whores.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, you know, that could also be true, but I'm a gatherer of people, and I'm getting hired at clubs. So I've worked at like, now it's so those places don't exist. Something like working at FDR. I did work at FDR and help out Jules on her Mondays when she first started too. That's never been my thing. I never, I don't want to say I never felt comfortable, but I don't like kissing butts.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's what I was going to ask you is that, well, either from your personal parties where you had to like people, you flew artists in or DJs or something like that, or dealing with like maybe a FDR Mondays where people have tables. Have you ever seen an artist have crazy demands? You're like, yo, who does this person think they are?
No, for sure. I mean, that's what happens. That's why I never really could do it well. And I also think like, now that I think back, because I'm like older and wiser, it's like it gave me way too much anxiety or something. Like for sure, like all of them like that. And like even like when we first started working with Travis Scott or something, like, you know, he's very much like, I want this, I want that. And I was literally hitting up like my homeboy who sells weed and being like, can you go to this guy's room, hotel room 218, trying to get him whatever, you know. I'm like a people pleaser. So That's like normal. Yeah. People are so crazy. And especially you come to Miami and people come here to like trauma dump. So there, no one's coming here like being nice and sweet. So yeah, I'm pretty much used to that. Also, I'm a woman and like I've had to deal with like this male ego stuff like my whole career.
Well, not only, a man versus woman ego, but like, did you ever get hollered at inappropriately? And did you accept anything back then that you wouldn't accept currently, the way people interacted with you?
I'm not perfect and I haven't made all the best decisions, but because I was so reserved and like guarding myself and guarding my back, it like in a weird way worked to my benefit in the case that like I got to survive this whole time without like sleeping around and like giving into getting ran through or something. Like, I mean, I didn't give in. So I was like impenetrable, but it's like, I think about it now as I go through therapy and I'm like, oh, I just like friend zoned myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, as we talk about artists, I want to know, how did you end up in Diplo's hotel room?
Very weird. This is just Miami shit. This is just Miami shit that happens. This is so embarrassing.
Hold on, let me see if I can. There we go.
I don't even want to talk about this.
Oh my gosh, dude.
This is just Miami shit. That's what I'm saying. This is the kind of shit that happens.
Bro.
I even can't even believe that West. I can't believe that Diplo like lets this kind of stuff happen. But
interesting.
we're all fans. That's what I'm saying. Miami was such an interesting time when you can like literally go see the artists you liked and then hang out with them after. That will not happen now. And if it does, it's in a different way.
Yeah.
That was weird. Don't want to talk about that.
Okay, you don't have to say anything. But see, like me as a person, I would see something like that, be like, yo, these girls got an interview with Diplo. He just wants to smash or something. Like it's almost like, I'm sure you're dealing with a lot of like you said, the male ego as well. It's like, this is somebody that I look up to as well. How come these girls get access to somebody like that, and me, I can't get put on or something. You know what I mean? So I'm sure you've had to deal with issues like that as well, right?
Well, I feel like so much of like being in a lot of it is Miami, right? Like I will say I got to grow up in a city where the access to people is so easy. I also think like at that time and even now, I think about that stuff too. Like there's only so much degrees of separation here. Like if there's a show going on, okay, Wizkid performing. Oh, where's Wizkid performing? At Oasis. Man, let me hit up this dude. I know how I'm gonna get to Oasis, and then I know how I'm gonna get to the background, and then I'm like, oh, and then who's he DJing? Oh, DJ Tunes. Oh, cool, lit. I'm gonna be back there. I know DJ Tunes or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know DJ Tunes, but like it's so easy to get close to them. But all that atmosphere came from like being in Miami versus I'm sure if like Wizkid was playing in New York, I'm never getting to Madison Square Garden. Like I'm never getting to be next to him. But Miami, it's so intimate here. So a lot of how I've gotten to be able in the positions where I am is like Miami, and then also my work ethic or my ability to like, I will say, if I have to big up myself, where there's a will, there's a way with me. And if I want something, I really try. But more out of like, my mom calls it like inventando, like inventing. Like I'm just like, ooh, I'm the kind of person like if you're like, yo, I want this new MacBook. I'm like, did you even look up that MacBook? I'm sure you can find it refurbished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you can find it on eBay. Why don't you go actually to the used bookstore? They have a bunch of MacBooks. Like, you're slipping. Like, there's a way to get it. You don't need to pay, like, $3,000.
I hate asking people for things. I never want to ask anybody for anything. And I'm sure you probably feel the same way as well. Don't like to inconvenience people, but what's the point of being in this entertainment industry? It's like a lot of times we make not as much money as somebody in finance or something like that, but the back end and all of the extracurricular stuff that we get to do for free equals the same salary as somebody else. Yeah. And so you got to use it at some point.
I will say too, I've always told people this when people would ask me for advice, like I'm where there's a will, there's a way kind of person, but I also, at least when I was younger, I do a little bit now, but I just used to ask people. Like and you would be surprised at how people don't get asked My mom says I say that wrong. So asked. People don't ask for things, you know? And so I used to just ask. Like when I got my first sponsorship of liquor, I was like to the Ciroc guy, I was like, hey, I'm throwing a party. Like, do you mind? Like, is there anything like I would love if you can donate any bottles or something. He's like, oh, that sounds interesting. I can give you like a case of bottles if you want, you know? And it was like, oh, I'm gonna turn that into happy hour. That's like a happy hour. Ciroc sponsored happy hour, you know? But I was always just, I feel like it doesn't hurt to ask. And so I used to just ask because I was young and I was like, why not? And it literally is the reason why I did all these things.
Yeah, well, that's good advice. I should take that advice.
Yeah, you gotta ask people.
What's the first time you went to Puff Daddy's house?
Puff Daddy, oh God. That was from the Ciroc guy that I just talked about, Johan.
Okay.
Wait, why? Do you have a video of that too?
No, I don't.
I'm like, no. No, yeah, that was the Johan. So the guy that gave me my first liquor sponsorship, who I literally found because I went on Twitter and I looked up Miami Ciroc, and then this guy came up and it said Chi from the Yayo, and it was this guy named Johan, and he became like an awesome friend and like a mentor of and he was always just a plug from then on. So he used to always invite me to stuff, and he invited me to Puff's house for the first time. You know, he does every year on New Year's, he has a party that goes on like for 24 hours. So you have to like wait until like 4 a.m. and then you get to go, and then you just stay there. I don't know. That's
well, that won't happen anymore, but
yeah, it won't happen anymore.
Enjoy your experience. So I'm not going to ask if you saw anything crazy. I'm sure you didn't enter the inner sanctum, did you?
No, I never got to go inside.
Okay. So speaking of that, do you think in general the entertainment industry is of the devil?
Oh God, that's so intense. You know, I don't think I wouldn't know. The devil is such an intense word, but I will say from the things that I've seen and the people that I've encountered and the people that I love dearly, who I am no longer associated with or around, it really can do something to you and really turn you into a different person. And you have to be a certain kind of person to be able to maneuver and to mold. And I don't know any other way to say it, but I am not like, I don't like to kiss butt, and I also don't know how to I don't know how to lie. I know how to finesse, but without lying. And that could be my downfall, or that could be what gave me integrity, which is what I like to go with, because now that I look back, I feel like I have my reputation to hold on to and my integrity. But you have to be this like ruthless human to be able to deal with like that piece of shit world. And I'm not. So now is when I look back and I'm like, damn, I was so hardcore. I used to wear like a bitch face, but it was like my armor in a weird way. And so now that I'm like this peaceful human, I'm like doing apology towards saying bye to, like saying sorry to people, because I'm like, I'm sorry, I give you mean faces. Even you, I'll be like, sorry, I was a little standoffish, but it's just how I've survived, by being standoffish. And that was the only way I didn't get like banged.
Dude.
I had to do that, okay?
Do you think you were ever approached by a demonic force, figuratively, or asked to sell your soul figuratively in the industry, and you denied it in some way?
I feel like, yeah. I feel like there's so many times I should have done stuff, and I was like, no, no, thank you. And I just can't. I'm telling you, I can't lie and finesse. And, you know, I laugh because I'll be on TikTok and I'll see shit from like Taz's Angels. Yeah,
dude.
And I'm like, I was in Taz's house. With who? Who do you think? With who? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, even while I'm there and I'm talking to Kat, like I'm talking to the main down bitch. And I'm like, what is happening right now? This is not, I'm not supposed to be here. And I always felt awkward. I was like, no, this is not for me. Even if I put on that clothes and was in the same place, I always felt out of place. But some people don't. And they like reptilianly adapt, and you can see it. And I've seen it in those people that I and that's why I'm like, nah, I'm good. I can't be around those kind of people. It drives me insane.
Do you think you could do a Taz's Angels house in 2024? You probably get canceled, right? Like you can't even be a pimp in 2024. It's done.
I feel like that Taz's Angels house was like they call them now like the TikTok creator houses.
Or like what is it called? A model house for promoters. Like they bring like the European girls in and they have to go out like 4 or 5 nights a week.
That still exists.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
Still exists, but no one cares about it because it's not like hot.
They're not making an Instagram account or something.
Yeah, and it's not like hot Puerto Rican girls with G-strings making out with each other. Okay. So nobody cares. But that stuff definitely still exists. But that's what I'm saying. These are such Miami coded things. Like where, of course, that happened in Miami. Of course, Diddy's having a 24-hour New Year's Eve party. Like, of course, this is all happening. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I lived a life.
Yeah.
I'm straight.
It's good. You have those memories. Now we can move on. You ever look at like Lipstick Alley and search your name or like websites like that and just to see if anybody ever said anything about you?
I've done that, but I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm not juicy. I don't got no juicy stuff. You found something?
No, I didn't. I just wondered.
No, I've looked because I wanted to see, but I'm like, damn, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't got any juice, but I'll just like Google other people's names.
It's a little guilty pleasure. If one of your friends is like getting canceled or maybe there's public backlash about one of your friends, like what's something, how do you handle that situation?
That only happened to me with certain people, and those people don't want help. You know what I'm saying? Those people don't want help. But I think collectively the culture just says like, damn, and like stays away, you know, but those people don't want help. You just shut up and then you mind your business. See, I've learned that now. I just mind my business. Because when I used to speak up, mind you, I like wiped my Twitter because I'm not stupid. And I wiped my Twitter like 5 years ago or something. But whenever you talk back to those people, they just go ham. So anytime, I don't really say anything too outrageous on like Instagram or Twitter or whatever. But when I used to, people used to talk shit to me, and my friends like Adrian or someone would come to my defense and be like, guys, she just throws parties, like leave her alone. It's like, ain't nobody here trying to change the world. Like don't pay attention if I say like Miami sucks. The people are like, what? I'm like, yo, relax. I'm not like, I mean, maybe I don't realize my voice sometimes, but I don't pay attention. But people who want attention pick at that stuff. And so, man, if people getting canceled, you just gotta let them be.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's always good to like kind of like chill, let them do that thing, because then it fizzles out. But I personally remember each and every person, and eventually, I will destroy anybody that ever went up against me. I promise you that. Don't you ever forget it.
Oh Lord Jesus, you have them all written down?
Oh yeah, I have a list.
Oh my Lord.
One way or another, they're gonna fall. But yeah, man, so that's good. Just let them bake. You know what I mean? Be the better person.
No, I'm the better person so much now.
We talked about some of the later parties you did. Trap Paradise, Best Day Ever. What Best Day Ever was a compilation of like which different parties throughout different regions.
No, Best Day Ever was I did it at Gramps, and then I moved it over to Pool Party, and that's when me and Jules kind of started working together, making it like awesome what the concept was. But
Best Day Ever was just it wasn't like when like Brunch Bounce would come down here and you guys collaborated on something like that, right?
No, it's called Greatest Day
Day Ever. There we go. That's why I was messing
Greatest Day
up.
Ever.
Got you.
Yeah, which ended up being like a festival, and it was all this New York stuff. No, I'm cool with them. Irv lives here now.
I know. I see
So everyone finds their way down to Miami somehow. But no, it's good people. That's what I'm saying. All that was such a beautiful particular time. Like, ain't no beef.
No, I didn't think you had any beef. I was just wondering if you ever talk to these people anymore. And what about Peach Fuzz? How did Peach Fuzz start? Were you part of it from the beginning, and is it still going on? What's the deal now?
No, I wasn't part of it from the beginning. It started, I guess the official host was Ashley Outrageous back then. And it started with Raul, Adrian, and Press, because they were besties. And Grand Central was a beautiful venue that like was super legendary to Miami nightlife scene. That's where Diplo was performing, where we saw him and got to hang out with him. But it was like Miami's only mid-sized venue at that time. And I'm telling you, like from Little Dragon to Duck Sauce and A-Track and Tyler the Creator and all that stuff, like the Rolling Loud guys used to do MGK there and all these things there back then. But they had a venue on the second floor, and they did this Peach Fuzz party, and it was every Friday, and there was no you know, that was where Miami got to feel like a cool New York scene, because every Friday it was like a loft space and they were playing R&B and like some new hip hop stuff, but it was really like a classic R&B party, and it was like sweaty and hot as hell. You could go there wearing, mind you, this is like in Miami time where you had to have dress code and wear, you know, nice shoes and button up shirts, but it was like you could go there, not that anyone would, but you could go there in like a wife beater and like slides if you wanted to and get in. And so everyone was welcome, and drinks were cheap, like $7 or something. But I was a fan just going there, and Ashley moved to New York, and at that time they approached me to host it. So I hosted it every Friday, and that was to me that's like my Miami street cred, which I'm very grateful for. So that's family. Yeah.
Do you think to be a successful DJ now, like outside of like the EDM community, if you're a producer, but like say you're just the open format DJ or just like a DJ down here in Miami, do you have to be in a crew and do a joint party where like the party has like 6 or 7 DJs on it? And is that something that you have to do, one? And two, if you were to start a party right now, what genre would it be? And what group of people would you target that you know is going to make money for you or is going to be successful?
I love DJ talk, and I know that you do too, so I will enjoy this conversation. I am so honored to have been basically, if I'm like a booth rat, I've been like behind all of you guys, observing, not sleeping with, not there for nothing except either working or observe. I've been literally working, so I've been watching. And I've had to do, like, I've just like you, I've probably been in the booth of like 1,000 parties. Like, it's more than that for sure, but I've been observing all of this. And in Miami, things are different now, because you have your like open format dudes, and that open format stuff, that you're going to be in a certain kind of place and a certain kind of venue and a certain kind of like tier. And then there's like Miami sub scene, which is maybe cooler parties. And then there's like totally off the wall, where it's just about like a super underground community or something. But I don't know. I think if someone wanted to start now, it's different. And even like looking at like, you got to come with your stuff, like your production stuff. You got to come with like, I would imagine like your edits. You got to create like a personality around yourself more now if you want to start DJing, because everyone's a DJ, right? So it's like, what tools do you have to like enhance the DJ experience? But if I was to start a party, which I mean, I feel like I create parties all like not as much anymore, because I am, you know, kind of semi-retired, as I tell myself. But I love Amapiano, but apart from Amapiano, because now also there's like 10,000 Amapiano parties and Afrobeat parties. Yep. I am all about like intimate spaces, so I really want to do something small, intimate. Like there's a place here called Dante's, and like I wish it could be like a Dante's place that just is playing like, I mean, I'm like a selection groupie, so it would be like lo-fi and like R&B edits and like UK garage and like all these cool things that only I want to hear, and like only like 100 people want to hear with me.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask you. I know you've talked a lot about selection, and I've even heard you talked before about saying don't get mad if I say Miami sucks or whatever, but people do pay attention. You know, a lot of people listen to you, and if you say Miami sucks, there's nothing good going on here. Selection is so much better. I've heard you say that sometimes on your social media. Selection is dope. I've been following them from the beginning as well, Joe K, everybody. But they did the Love Below down here, which basically was like Selection. Yeah. Did you ever go to those parties?
Yeah. No, I was going to them since the beginning, since the first ones too. And it is beautiful what they did, because they fostered a community of the people that would enjoy that. And that's what I'm saying. It's so hard. They created a community, and the community still exists. But you can only run that engine for so long. You can't keep like the Miami infrastructure cannot hold that for very long. So it either has to be a pop-up at some point in time, but weeklies here are hard. There's like there's so much. Miami has too many options. It has too many variety. There's too much different flavors. There's too much venues. I always think about that now because Miami has a huge venue issue right now. There's too much real estate. So people, like, if you want to throw a party, there used to be, if you want to throw a party, there's only 5 spots that are having a party. Now it's only 5 spots that but there's like, we can go to, like, I don't know, Brickell, and there's a really popping reggaeton party that we had no idea of. Like, there's just too much stuff going on. So it's hard out here, but shout out to the Love Below. They're really, I mean, that's our little selection for sure. And they do it well.
It might be too much real estate, but it's good for like a DJs, because it's like when they throw us aside like a little lover that is scorned, we get to go to another place. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like we don't have to worry about the breakup so bad.
That's true. You
can never feel comfortable. I've never in my life feel comfortable since I started completely DJing. Like, you always feel like this can be gone at any given moment. Do you ever feel like that when throwing parties and stuff?
Yeah, since I transitioned to the working world, and through lots of therapy and retrospect, whatever it's called, looking back into it, I am used to living in chaos. And it's not until now that my only goal when I wake up every day is like a personal peace. And I was like, wow, I just knew how to operate in chaos and nightlife, and the hustle and the grind is a constant. People are better. It was a constant anxiety. So it's like living in constant chaos and anxiety because I didn't know how to manage it. Now I do. So maybe it wouldn't be so chaotic. But I think that's what it makes us like that, though.
Yeah, but I went from having a steady job and DJing for fun, now just DJing. So I've gone the opposite way. We've like done a 180. I don't know. And I think I prefer probably being in an office, but we'll talk about that later too. What's an experience where maybe you lost money, or they had like a bar minimum and you didn't make it, or like nobody showed up to a party, and that kind of like you had to like force yourself to do it again after that?
Well, I always remember this one because it's an awesome thing. But then it also was like, I've thrown tons of parties. I've thrown parties where only 20 people show up. I've had weeklies where, that's what I'm saying, like, it's not very successful, but you got to do what you got to do. And I'm there getting like blackout drunk, trying to like convince myself it's fun and things are popping. But one of my awesome opportunities that I got was for an Art Basel. Was it an Art Basel? Well, for an Art Basel, I have the plug. Shout out to Mikey Larson. He works with Pharrell, and he works closely with like Chad Hugo. For some reason, Chad Hugo was DJing stuff.
Yeah, I remember.
And so I was like, oh, I want to book Chad Hugo for a party. Wouldn't that be amazing to watch Chad Hugo DJ? And like, I'm going to get Sango to open, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and it's going to be great. And I tried to pull together as much sponsorships and stuff as I could. And my friend lent me his warehouse that was so huge and literally fits like, I don't know why I did that, like 5,000 people. And I booked Chad Hugo for $10,000. And I literally had to go to Wells Fargo and ask for like a line of credit and ask my sister to pull a line of credit. I think I had like $5,000. So I borrowed $5,000 and literally sent it to Chad Hugo and tried to make, the money back. And like, obviously my only costs weren't $10,000. It costs a lot of money to put together that thing. But I lost like $10,000. But it's okay, because guess what? I got the connection to Chad Hugo. So now if I wanted, which I did when Rolling Loud came around and NERD was performing, I got backstage passes. I don't know, but
definitely worth 10 G's. That's a good.
It is worth 10 G's, even if it was for me for a photo and stuff. Right. But all of those like L's were really just like experiences, because now I know, hey, that's a great idea, but not in that way and not in that like framework. So I don't regret it. And also, when you think about it, $10,000 comes and goes. I mean, it's not just a little bit, but it comes and goes.
Yeah, it's true. It's basically, we were talking about before, you wish you could do an internship. That's like an internship in the fact that you're putting out your own money. You're not really getting money from it, but you gain so much experience from that. But nah, man, if I lost 10 G's, I'd be done. I'm not getting back up. I mean, I would have had to like you said, finesse it somehow through a liquor sponsor or something like that. I would have tried to make it back, but yeah, that's very brave of you to keep going.
No, yeah, we kept going. I mean, we kept going. You got to just keep going. So, yeah.
I mean, you also you said recently that Wynwood's dead because if people don't know that are listening now or watching, Wynwood was a very artsy area. That's where Norma started, I guess, throwing her parties, and where we saw that video of Art Basel happens in there and everything. And now they're starting to push people out because there's more condos coming in. There's going to be noise ordinances where a lot of these outdoor clubs are going to have to shut down. And basically it's not going to be a party community anymore. So you said it's dead, but what's the future of areas like that, and what's the next area that's popping for Miami?
I think people are going to like Little Haiti and Buena Vista or Little Havana. Actually, I'm talking shit. People downtown, they're putting gas into downtown now. And so, you know, places like Mama Tried and stuff like that, little real estate over under like that, like groundwork is where venues are going to start popping up. And like David Sinopoli has a spot there, like Jolene Sound Room and stuff. Like that's what I see as the next spot. Like there's another place called Jerk. Like you could see the little seedlings. And I'm like, damn, this is dope. This is the Uncharted.
They do parties in that Jerk space?
Yes,
I
it's
didn't know
ridiculous.
that.
It's called Mangrove. It's so small.
Oh, nice.
But
okay.
That's the thing about Miami. These people just cycle around. That's why you have to be a good person, because they're moving somewhere else. So this guy Max, he's the one who does that. And like I interned for him. He used to run like mansion and stuff like that. So like I got the plug for that if I want to throw a party, you know.
I mean, so in general, people complain about their city, but I not just Miami. I hear everybody complaining about, my city's dead. Do you notice any market in the United States of America that has like a good party scene right now?
I only pay attention to what I guess my friends are throwing, but like LA daytime party looks fun. I don't know. I feel like parties aren't really fun, but maybe my eyes are different. But I just don't feel it like it used to be. Like it's not the same. Something's different, and I can't put my
and it's not that we're growing older. I don't care what anybody says. No, we're growing older. It's just different, man. I'm telling you.
It's true. Something's different. I don't know what it is. And it's not my job to fix it, because I can't change the world, but
it's the pandemic. People that turned 21 during 2020 never knew how to party, and they've just carried that tradition on. Nobody knows how to party anymore, man.
You think so?
I know for a fact. That's what it is. I saw it go down before my eyes. It's a wrap, man. See, George Soros and everybody was trying to take down the American monetary system, but they just took down the party scene. They didn't know what they were doing.
Who's George Soros?
We'll talk about it later.
You went too deep into some wormhole. I don't even know what that is.
Just say the powers that be that were trying to destroy America, they destroyed the party scene instead.
Okay. No more litness. No lit parties.
It's not lit, man, whatsoever. All right. Now let's talk about, you talked about you have a normal job, or you started to go to office jobs. I wouldn't say it's normal. You started doing marketing. But back then, what's We Good or Good Intentions Incorporated?
That was like my spin-off of me trying to be like, okay, because for the past 10 years, I've basically been throwing parties and consulting for different companies. Throwing parties, I feel like I was throwing parties, doing some event production stuff, doing some finessing influencer things, and then also doing some brand consulting. And so when people and brands come to Miami, I'm like getting my name is getting thrown around, like, oh, we have a budget with Puma, we're coming down for Rolling Loud. Can you help us pull together something? Okay, cool, I can. Oh, I'm working with Bacardi. We need to put together like an event. Can you help us like promote it? Yes, I can. And so at some point, instead of going with like Norma Now Inc., I was like, oh, let me create like a little marketing agency. And so I called it We Good, and then extended it to like Good Intentions Inc. So that was like kind of what I was running under for a while. But that's my marketing agency.
Do you know Dizzy Cleanface?
Yes.
And he has We Good too. What's up with you and these names, man? Two Dope Boys and We Good. You gotta watch out for these.
I thought about it. If he wants the name, he can have it, I guess. Give me something.
I know. Maybe you can collaborate for sure. He's got some nice artists now.
No, he's a great guy.
Game 7, you were or currently working there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Who do they represent, and who are they actually targeting that the marketing marketing that you were working with?
They're an experiential marketing agency based out of New York and LA. And yeah, I'm a influencer marketing manager, and I'm just doing my thing, learning the working world. I'm a working girl.
You have a dream job of everybody coming out of college, or even like when I look on like LinkedIn, I'm like, dude, that would be a fun job. You know what I mean? Working with social media and influencers. It's really a lot of fun, I'm sure, in real life, right?
I mean, it's just the technical stuff of what goes on behind the scenes. But I guess I've always been a behind the scene person, so.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting. It's all interesting. I knew that when I accepted going back into the working force, that it's like I'm going back to school. Like I was saying about wanting an internship, this is like an internship for me, and like going back to school and learning like what's everyone been doing this whole time while I was finessing life. Oh, they were doing this. Okay, let me like learn, figure it out. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Were you a fan of Dime and Bounce magazines? Like who the owners, the owners of Game 7 started those magazines back in the day.
No,
it was like, they were basketball magazine, basketball/entertainment or whatever. I mean, I was never really into sports like that. Are you a sports person?
No, I don't know anything. But I know they're sports guys.
Right. When I think about, you talked about their experiential, do they have a target, like, are they going to 18 to 35 like kids? Are they going to like adult, like 55-year-old adult? Who are you guys targeting?
No, it's the clientele is like like clients like Spotify, Timberland, a Nike. Like they're helping clients with whatever, I guess, campaigns or events that they're working. So the agency is just like a kind of like client services, for all the different companies that they work for. So I mean, I would say the people that should know about Game 7 are people with money, people who work at agencies, the marketing person at Nike or whatever brand needs to know about Game 7. But to me, it's like culture, which is, again, like all I've been into. So yeah, they just try to put culture into every kind of project that they do. So
what is culture? You don't have to answer, but because I saw you do a campaign with like Nike where like they gave you and like 3 dudes like a pair of sneakers and they followed you around or something like that, right? Okay, so I decided, let me go on Foot Locker's site, right? I went to Foot Locker's Instagram. I didn't see one white person on the whole thing. So who are these people marketing towards? If I asked somebody like, give me a job, some people used to say like, you want a job that's never going to make money, be like study psychology or something, like, I don't know, something like that. I think a job that would never make money in 2024 is like a white male commercial actor or commercial model.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you think white people don't buy things anymore? I feel like, and as a person that works in marketing, you're privy to these meetings, even if you might not be the person making these choices. What's happening, man? Are we going extinct?
I don't know. I don't know, but I will say from like, again, this is even like off the record of not as a Game 7 employee or whatever, but I think that companies now are such in a push to have inclusivity in everything. So like you'll see all kinds of races, you'll see all transgenders of all kinds, all ethnicities, everyone's acknowledged right now. And so I think people are just trying to like show that there is representation across social medias. So yeah, I don't know. I will say again, like that's what I'm saying, when I first started throwing parties, like there was like, I'm telling you, me and like my first party was called Trap Paradise. Like I've been down with what I gonna keep calling the culture from the beginning. And I used to go to FDR, and I would tell Jules, and me and Jules advocated for trying to get like Metro Boomin down here and trying to get like all these trap people to come play music. We tried to throw Trap Paradise at FDR, and they would complain and say that there's too much guys and that no one wants to dance to that music and no one wants to, like, it's too ghetto. And then it's like, look at y'all now, so in my head,
I mean,
like,
nobody dances though still, so they might bring them in those places that serve bottles now, but it's like a whack environment. No,
for sure. But back then we're like, hey, this is what's gonna be cool, like this is what the kids are hearing, this is what's cool to like we knew to foresee that this was like where things were headed, so I feel like it's just, that's people are just trying to push what culture is, and that's what makes things cool. But I mean, I guess
my time is over is what you're saying. It's fine. Keep it moving. Now, you work with influencers. Do you follow like influencers before you had this position? Like, did you actually like check these people out, or did you have to do some research?
You know, I am of the coin of like, if I'm looking for influencers or if I'm looking for someone in something, I just like do research. Like if I want to know about like I don't know, a Chicago, the Chicago skate scene, I'm going to hit up like some people I know from Chicago and ask them to direct me to the right person. Or like all I have to do is go to a couple of different pages. Oh, damn. And then, and see what's, you know, what's popping in Chicago. But I feel like you should ask people from their city about like where to go. And like, that's how I do like my research and stuff. But, I also feel like I'm from like the blog era where it was like influencers before influencers. So like I do be like looking at certain things. But...
I understand. I mean, and also it must not be a fun time. A lot of if they're not getting back to you, if they don't have email in their bio or something. Because you talked about this. Let's talk about one of your famous TikToks here.
Ignorance and lack of knowledge in the influencer space amongst people that I contact for my job to see if they want to be down with campaign deals and stuff. Some people are just totally not. They don't know what's going on. Y'all need to pay attention to your emails. You need to check your message requests. You need to be on it. If you're trying to get booked and busy,
also, like,
you need to be checking your stuff.
I got to learn from I can't be talking like that when I like my job.
Oh man, whatever. Forget these people. What I want to know is, why are these people so appealing just because they have a following? If there's somebody like maybe like me or somebody else that's willing to do mad creative things, but we don't have like the numbers, like what do your bosses appreciate more, quality content or like Alex Earl like saying two things about a product?
You know, I think whether it's the place I work or just like my belief, which I think it's the same. In the influencer space, we have a responsibility to navigate and dictate how business is going to be conducted. And that means from the deals, the partnerships, the amount of money that we offer these people, and the kind of creative that we put together. I think gone are the days that people are like shamelessly following something. Obviously, there's mega creators like an Alex Earl who could say, oh my God, look at this new toothbrush and it'll go popping. But for the people who are just getting started in like an influencer space, like people aren't dumb, and you can't just like pick up a product and be like, hey, look, like people, it's too obvious and people don't want to support that kind of stuff. So I have took it that both in my work and just even the way I conduct myself, because I'm a creative person too. You know, you are too. Like, even if I'm getting paid $100 or $10,000, I'm going to put my all into it because I care about my stuff and I care about the things that I endorse. I also don't just take random endorsements or random checks. And so through my job, I've been, you know, and my company feels the same way. Like, we're here, I want to set like fair prices, fair rates, and like also create compelling content. So again, I'm just so thankful that a place like the place I work at allows me to practice and to be able to like see it in real time work. And so I've had a lot of fun learning at my job. I feel like entering the workspace really like helped me change my life.
They don't do it as in your face now. They won't show you. They'll just be behind them, like on a desk or something while they're doing like a dance or something like that. That's how they do it now.
People are getting paid a lot of money and people are getting all these opportunities, and it is very discouraging. And so what sucks is like you either play the game or you choose not to. Or you can semi-play the game. But at this point, and you know, there's this guy, Isaac Likes from I Like You.
Yeah, I know who that is.
And, you know, he had a really funny saying, which would be on his page, something that he did for New Year's. He's not scared to be corny. And you know what? Like, fuck it. Like, just try. There's another saying that A$AP Rocky said, which is like, who are you gonna look? You're gonna look down on people for trying. Since when did trying was not cool? Like, why don't you just try? So, again, since I have a day job now, I be trying all day. That's why I'm like, I'm a fitness girly, I'm a wellness girly, I'm corny, I'm whatever. Because at the end of the day, if corny means that I'm trying, then let it be, because everyone's attention span is already so short. Like, you just need to like do whatever you want to do. So I feel like it is very discouraging, but at this point, like, just go for it.
All right. So working in a company, would you rather be a person that has a salary, but you're never going to be top dog, right? But you also get all your flights taken care of. You can reimburse for hotel rooms. You get to send out to all the events, like whatever is going on. But you're never going to be the big boss. Or would you rather have your own company and you get to do whatever you want, but everything comes out of your pocket eventually?
The era that I'm in right now, I would rather learn and, you know, be in an environment where I can learn. And if that means that I don't work for myself, then that's okay with me. Because what it means is I get to learn from other people who are bosses and who do know more than me. I think so much of working for yourself is like you have to at least myself, that's why you have to you're constantly questioning if you're doing things right. You're constantly questioning if this is the right path. I've been doing, because you're like, this is working for yourself. You've done every job. You're doing every job right now. I've done every job. I've made my own flyers. I make my own RCP page. I've done the door. I've counted the money. I've been a bartender. I've put together the equipment. I've paid the bills. I'm the one writing the checks. I'm the one setting up. I'm the one printing the shirts. I've definitely printed a shirt at some point in time. Like, I'm doing all this stuff, so at some point I'm like, oh, it's okay. I want to chill and like take a step back and see, like, stop making $1 out of 15 cents. I kind of want to see like what happens when they actually don't have 15 cents. They have like $15,000 or $50,000. I'm like, wow, this is how it looks like when you do things with resources.
I was like, the only time I've ever stayed at nice hotels was when I was working for Team Epiphany. I was like, any hotel, they would always make sure they're at the best hotels. I would never in my life spend money like that.
Yeah.
So it's always good to sometimes work for those companies.
Yeah, you do work. You get to spend it on the client's dime. You want the best quality work. You got to stay in quality sleep.
That's right. And you've worked at a lot of brands. So real quick, one brand that you thought was gonna like pop off and be the next big thing, and they just never happened.
I can't remember. If that's I guess the bad thing, right? I can't remember if they didn't pop off.
Yeah, because they never blew up. Okay, well, how about maybe an artist that you thought was gonna be the next big thing and never made it, or never made it as big yet in their career?
Damn, no, I don't want to say that because then people.
Okay, don't say it.
I don't want to diss no artist.
All right, this is easier. Best club that's not around anymore.
Oh. Damn, Grand Central.
Yeah. Okay. We knew that one. Also, have you ever seen Apartment Life or Culture.fm?
Yeah.
All that stuff?
I've seen the Apartment Life ones.
Okay, well, there's like 3 or 4 others that are doing it now.
Yeah, I saw your story.
Do you think we were the first people to do that when you did your Jameson thing and you had your house party?
Yeah. That was the life back then. But I'll say, like what I said earlier, intimate spaces is where it's at right now. I think people want to feel close to one another again. It's not like there's people for everything, but I think, I don't know, I enjoy quality and shit, so I'm not just like ruthlessly buying a show to like the Dead Mouse concert or something. Like, what?
Nothing.
Okay, I was like,
see, this is what I don't like. I don't like showing what I'm doing next. I don't like you being able to see it. I just want to like show you. So let's get to it. So you talk.
Also, my TikTok is literally my little hidden secret place because I do all of my intimate thoughts are on TikTok.
I know. That's what I'm going to ask you about. You talked about.
Oh my God.
You should never be scared to try things. And I feel like recently, maybe because you started working with influencers and stuff like that, you've just been trying mad different stuff and just throwing things out there. Sometimes a random rant, sometimes a produced video, sometimes an interview, like just all kinds of different content. So has it been frustrating when something that you think is popular doesn't pop off, that you put a lot of effort into, but then something that you don't even care about, like the Raul Alejandro or something, has like 17.8K right there, man. Yes. And that's just you filming a concert video. I could spend like 16 hours editing a video and it gets like 200 likes or 200 views. So how do you combat that?
See, TikTok, I know there's like an actual, if you watch all the TikTok videos, I guess, like there's an actual like algorithm and a way to go about it. I don't have time for that. I also am playing around with content now, and I'm grateful that I have more of an Instagram following, or an engaging Instagram following, because I don't even have a lot of followers. But I've been using TikTok as like what I would call like my Instagram stories. Like,
Okay.
because I used to, and it's like, you know, you go on Facebook and you can see, it'll be like, on this day 3 years ago, and it'll show you like a flashback of your story, and it's like so embarrassing. But back like in Snapchat days, I know people are on Snapchat now. I don't get, they're like paying people to be on Snapchat or something. It's weird.
It's made a resurgence for sure.
Yeah, no, they're definitely paying people. But back in the day, you used to Snapchat and used to follow people that way. And I used to put up mad stories. And now I like to stay mysterious, and I like to keep my business to myself. But I use TikTok as my stories. So if I was like get caught off in a car, I'd be like, it's so annoying. I got cut off. Miami drivers, you guys suck. And I feel in my head that TikTok's like my own little corner of the universe, because I talk about like my sobriety there, and I talk about all my little secret things that I don't want to tell my Instagram followers. But
I think that's the way,
interesting.
though, I think.
I mean, it is very weird, and I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not really trying, and then I'm trying sometimes. And I make like the nicely produced videos. I make them with the intention of posting them on Instagram.
Okay.
But now I also find it fun, which I'm sure you do too. When you get really cooking on a video, I'm like, damn, this is a good one. But yeah, sometimes they don't hit, you know. I put up a video like yesterday of me at some event. Mind you, it took me like an hour to edit, but I was like, damn, this is a really good video. And it's like 4,000 views. I'm like, oh man, I thought that was, you know, that going to be the one, but it's all consistency.
That's popping for me, man. You're lucky with the 4,000 views. So do you let numbers control your content? Like the things that have gotten, like you talked about a hair salon, that's like one of your number one TikTok. Like, would you do more like reviews of businesses and stuff, or do you like to just do whatever comes to your mind?
I like to do whatever comes to my mind. I actually went back to that hair salon, so I'm gonna probably put another video up at that same hair salon.
Here come the numbers.
Yeah, right. But you know, probably I should do more of that, but I'm just too lazy, and I want to do whatever I feel like it. That's why I will say I am trying, I don't know, the medium, but I obviously must not want it that bad, because then I would probably just highlight more like Miami businesses I checked out, because those things, reviews hit numbers. So if I was to go to like, come with me to check out this new seafood restaurant, oh my god, I had this and it was so yummy, people would probably like it, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I've had like a little like, what am I doing? Should I stick with like me with my wellness? Another second, I'm like, should I go with like my party content, because it makes, you know, numbers too when I'm interviewing drunk people? But I'm like, now I'm not a drunk person. I don't want to do that. So I'm having a little
midlife crisis, but a TikTok crisis.
Yeah, having a content midlife crisis of like, what am I doing here? But it's all right. It's not the end of the world.
Do you feel pressure to talk about like politics and stuff that's going on, you personally, and then also as a marketer? What if one of your clients decides to go rogue and go crazy, like one way or the other politically, or like with an issue? Like, how do you deal with that coming from a company perspective?
They call that like brand safety and stuff. So people, I know to stay away from, like before I even worked anywhere, like I said before, I wiped my Twitter as soon as I saw people getting murdered.
Oh yeah.
And crucified from like pulling up old tweets. I went on that website real quick and I deleted every single thing, because I had Twitter since the beginning. So I definitely had like some Drake quotes and stupid stuff. But I stay away from it. That's what I'm saying. I'm too, whether it was like to protect myself or whether it was like because I was a wussy, I always stayed away from stuff. Also, I really don't know that much. Like,
okay.
So like, I don't have any thoughts on politics because I don't know enough to speak on it. So I will just shut up if I don't know enough.
That's a very refreshing answer, because most people, that doesn't matter, man. Just going to say the first thing that comes to the top of their...
No, especially not politics stuff, because that's what I'm saying. They'll catch you slipping. It's only until now that I have the confidence to say there's like few things I know about, and it's like, I know about DJs, I know about music, I know about throwing parties, and now I know about like wellness stuff. But don't ask me about like politics. I don't know about that stuff.
Okay. There seemed to be a point in time when you were completely done with Miami. You were ready to move. I don't know if that's really the case, but that's just how it comes across on social media. Maybe you didn't want it to go like that, and it was just like a random thought that you put out there. But what is lacking here, and for that what you do, or just in general? Is it being creative? Because I feel it too. Like, I don't feel creative here. I feel like it's a great quality of life. I like running. I like doing stuff outside. It's dope, but I don't feel the push or like living in another cities. So what do you think it is missing here?
I try not to be like a negative Nancy and try not to say it out loud so much. But if I have a Miami rant, Miami, or at least myself, I have not found like a community of people who like inspire and motivate me. It's like few and far in between. There's like a person here and there's a person there. But it's different, right? Because I go up to New York. I'm sure you go to New York, and all you have to do is go one day to work. All you have to do is go one day to the streets. All you have to do is go and have a lunch meeting with someone. And like, I can go out and eat, and I go meet up with my friend Hannah Sider, and it's me eating with Hannah Sider, and then we're hanging out with our other girl. She's a model, and then we're hanging out with Vaughn, and he's a stylist, and then we're hanging out with MoMA, and he's a D. And I'm like, bro, this is just day one. Mm-hmm. Day two, and that's the thing. It's not that I went out to go look for these people. It's that there's like that energy, and everyone's doing something. They're not just talking shit. And I'm sure you saw now, because you've had a few years here, Miami's a city where it's like, what do you guys even do for a living? Why don't people want to talk about, like, why are you just I see you in the streets. I see you out and about. Cool. You come to my parties. I have never heard what you do. Why don't you just talk to me about it? Why are you so scared to tell me that you're an RN? Why are you so scared to tell me that you work reception at a doctor's office or at a waxing spa? That's okay. You have a job, dude. That's okay. But I feel so alone here in a way where I'm like, and it's only until few moments and times where like, look, I get to link up with you and we can chat about stuff. And look, like, I'm inspired. I'm like, damn, what are you using? Like, now I have something that I feel like, damn, this is my creative community. But it's only few and far in between. And I'm just tired of it. And I when I was younger, it was okay. And I could chase it more. But I want to be inspired and motivated. If not, I'm going to get stale, and I'm not going to do, I'm just bored. So I'm like, nah, I want to go outside. Even New York is so cool. I mean, I get it that like you New Yorkers are so over it. That's why you guys come down here. But every day is like an adventure. Mm-hmm. Here, I'm born and raised from here. And like my high school, everyone went to the same Miami-Dade College. Everyone studied, business management, business administration. Everyone went and became like an RN. Like, no one took the chance, because it's a very Miami thing. You get comfortable here, and you will be comfortable. You work at a sneaker store, this person will be working at the retail store until they're 45. They will never leave. Miami sucks you in and makes you think you're complacent. That's mm-hmm. the word here. Mm-hmm. And you can come here and chill, but I'm not, I don't want to chill. That's not me. It wasn't me. And I feel anxious here. I'm like, what's going on? Y'all are boring. I shouldn't be the coolest person in the room. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Sorry.
No, completely understand. I saw you do the Tokisha thing, and I've seen you do some other stuff before, like maybe with Fade or something like that. But like, are you into the Latin market stuff that they do down here at all, or that doesn't really interest you to throw events like that?
I am, when it comes from like a cool reggaeton angle. Mm-hmm. I'm more recently trying to like associate with my roots. I think growing up here, I don't know why so silly. I joke around with my mom. I'm like, I feel more comfortable at like a Jamaican party with Addie in them than I do if you take me to some reggaeton Latin club in Miami. Right. I feel awkward there, and I don't know why. Or I don't know if I think I disassociated with like, that's corny. And that was like, it was corny back then. That's what I'm saying. Like, that was corny.
Dude, I love 2000s like reggaeton now, but like back then I was like, yo, these guys are just biting off of like Soulja Boy and stuff, the way they dress, everything. Like the beats are corny. It's like hip hop stuff from like 99 and 2000, but they're doing it in 2005, 2006. But now, like, I love playing this stuff because it's just like, it hits hard. It's fun.
It was a very different scene in Miami, at least. Like the parties, it was super segregated. There was like segregation in like parties and scenes, and you're like, oh, those are like the Latin kids, those are the refs, those are the Cuban kids, those are the South, like, you know. And so I always gravitated more towards the hip hop stuff and more towards like urban people and stuff. And so that's where I kind of laid and felt comfortable. And so now I'm like, Norma, like, that's like, I want to get to know my culture naturally. So I'm like, oh, let me go out to them. And, you know, so I'd be like bumping Raul Alejandro. I'm a huge Raul Alejandro fan, but like by myself. Like, so I was at that concert and I recorded all that stuff and I was like, yay.
No, he's dope because I'm a production person. So that's why it doesn't even matter like what he's saying, what language, because I'm always, even rap, like I don't even care what lyrics. I'm always about the production. His production is dope. It's very space age. So that's cool. So do you think that mainstream, I guess we want to say, like Hollywood or anything will ever have a hub down here, or is it only going to be the Latin side of like Universal Music Group or whatever? Or do you think they're going to have real offices of every type of music eventually in Miami, or movies as well and stuff?
People are saying, and you know, that's like so Miami also, for people to be like, just wait, just give it a couple more years. How much more years? I'm not going to stay here forever. I'm not going to have said, because this is my, you know, like I have to stop myself and be like, again, this is what's been swirling in my head for like a year or two, which is why again, we are so spoiled here. And that's why you're here too, right? We're spoiled. The quality of life in Miami is so beautiful. And every single time, it's like that Chingy song. It's like, every time I try to leave.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, I hate it here. And then I go somewhere else and it's beautiful and it's cute. And then I come back and I'm like, I have my car. I can drive. I can go run, and I run by the water. And then you go and get your cafecito. And then the lady's so nice to you. And you're like, oh, this is why I love it here. This Cuban lady just called me like amor, you know, and like you do all these things and you're like, this is my city. I'm good. I don't want to go anywhere. But yeah, I know that it's comfortability, and I know that I won't be able to grow if I don't change. But like you left your hometown. Mm-hmm. This is my hometown. Whether like it's a cool place or not, I never left my hometown. I'm not gonna let that be. That's the thing that propels me to be like, I'm moving to New York like next week, because I'm like, no way that I'm gonna have never left my hometown. You've moved like 5 times, you know?
Well, I always thought that too. Like when I first, like as a kid, moved to New York, I was like, yeah, these people, these city kids must hate it. They must want to go down to the beach or like down to like a party school down south or something. But like, nah, no, we're good here. Nobody wanted to leave. So I don't know, man. Some people are just like down to stay, or maybe they have everything they wanted back then in that city, so they didn't have to move. Yeah. It was exciting because everybody had to go there. But now you don't have to go anywhere, and that's the problem. Nobody goes out. Nobody does anything. But let's hypothetically say you're gonna move to New York City. Have you been looking for apartments and stuff?
I have gotten that far.
Well, if you haven't, we're gonna do it right now. we're gonna look for something, because I want people out there to see the problems that we're working with, or anybody else is working with that wants to move to the big old city. Easy. All right.
Yeah, well, you're looking in Manhattan.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can give me what neighborhood.
I want to go to my sister lives in Bed-Stuy.
Okay, so let's see. Beverage Stuyvesant right there. We're going to put that in. We're going to take Manhattan off.
You know, I didn't know that's what Bed-Stuy
yeah, that's just meant. You know, it's just a little shortened version of that. What's the max we're working with? You don't have to say your actual max, but just give me a number to work with here.
Like 3,000.
Damn, okay, balling over game 7.
No. Jeez, that's not my max. I'm just saying.
All right, we'll do that. And let's see what we got here. All right. We have, let's see.
But it tries to trick you because, yeah, okay.
Okay, is there a certain neighborhood of Bed-Stuy that you like, or like a certain area? Do you want to be closer to the city?
By Prospect Park.
Okay.
See, that's what's so beautiful about New York, because you guys as New Yorkers, like, there's a beautiful park you can go running in.
I mean, dude, this is actually kind of fire, but
this is really expensive.
2,900 for, what is this?
900 square
feet.
That's
a 2-bed though. It's not bad. That's not bad.
4 rooms. It says 4 rooms. 4 rooms, 2 beds. That's weird.
2 beds, 4 rooms. Yeah, bathroom and a kitchen.
Yeah, they're counting it. Yeah. That is expensive. That's why I'm saying I pay right now in Miami like less than $2,500 for a 2-bedroom apartment. So this is why I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I know, dude. And when I came down here, I was like, this is amazing. Even though the rents have gone up like 50, 60% since I first moved down here. But it's still not that crazy around here. So These are
this
things
is beautiful, but I also don't have $2,900 a month
Yeah.
for this.
Dude, these are things we got to think about. And I'm sure you think about this all the time. Or would you be willing to live with a roommate, or you got to live by yourself? You got to be.
I thought about that, and I was like, if I move and dislocate my whole entire life, then I'll even get a studio because
Here we are
I'm
in your
too
new
grown.
apartment right here.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
This is fire.
See, okay.
It's not bad. It's a renovated kitchen and bathroom here.
I don't know if that's renovated. That looks pretty aged.
No, they have the new black faucet. You know,
Yeah.
that's how you know it's
That's
renovated.
how you know they went to IKEA.
Trust me, dude. I renovated a lot of this amazing studio you see behind you with the moving walls and stuff. So I went to every Home Depot in the greater Miami area, every Lowe's. So yeah, dude. Well, hopefully you figure out what you want to do.
Yeah,
And
I've in search. I've decided that home is in my heart. So I do need to decide. I knew literally my friend yesterday was like, Norma, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. Okay. But my lease is up in like 2 months. So
no.
the world is going to decide for me. God, Jesus, take the wheel.
For real. Let's talk about the Lord. I'm serious. That's why I saw you go on the VU. I'm interested in VU. I listen to the VU podcast, but I've never actually gone to that church. Is church was it big for you growing up, or are you getting more into it now?
You know, church is just a place where I'm like, where can I just go hear people talk about positive things? Because I realized I just want to hear good things. I literally hear podcasts all day. I read books, self-help books. And at some point I'm like, I don't know what else to do. You know, fitness stuff can get really culty, run clubs and all this stuff that I do, which I already do. And I'm just like, what else can I hear? So I'm like, let me turn back to the good old number one step, the Lord.
That's right. You always come back to the Lord, man.
For real, yeah.
We're all the prodigal son. We're eventually all going to come back. And I was going to ask you about that, so you've transitioned from nightlife people to like fitness people, but those people can be weirdos too. So have you run into that at all? Like people with egos, the same way artists have egos, like these fitness guys or women?
It's, I'm still trying to read the room. And that's why I guess like it's the same observation stuff. It's very interesting, and I'm trying to be like a positive, clean, optimistic person. I'm not trying to, I am. I avoid cliques. That stuff is to me red flags. And so, you know, that's what kept me away from going to church, because I'm like, oh, they're too cliquey for the Lord, I guess, you know. But or like fitness stuff, like run clubs. There's tons of run clubs, and there's of course you're going to naturally make different crews and friends. So I kind of take pride in being like alone. I saw this quote by RuPaul, but I'm an introvert disguised as an extrovert. And so I'm like a loner, but I'm so lucky I get to pop around. Even when I go out at night, like if I go to a party, if I was to go see someone, oh, I'm gonna go see you spin, I go by myself because I know I'm gonna bump into people, but I know I also can like leave when I want to. I decided, I'm like, you know, VU looks like a beautiful, welcoming community, and I was like, let me take away all my like negative thoughts about like, oh, this is a hypebeast church, or like, oh, this is like a weird place, I feel uncomfortable. But I was like, you know what, I've been around so many people clout chasing people who used to try to talk to me just because of like who I knew or what I was around. I think I can handle fake people, if it's even fake church people. I've dealt with like clout chasers. I'll take some clout chasing for God.
I want to try to run through some of these things. You just give me first thing at the top of your mind. You said a girl came up to you one day and was like, girl, the older women are still running things around here, right? They said that to you, and you put up a whole story up about this.
Yeah, that girl.
And you were like, dog, I'm not old. Like, what are you talking about? But as we like get more into our career or whatever, we're not always the youngest person in the room. We end up being the mentor where there's new people coming. I hate being that person. I always like being the younger person. Like, I'm gonna, you know, take on the whole world by myself. And all these old people don't know what's going on. But now I've turned into that. You know what I mean? So how is that transitioning into being the mentor rather than the mentee?
It's weird, but because I'm in a different space and I'm more confident and comfortable, I'm okay with it. So I wasn't offended, but I don't have much patience nowadays. And again, because I'm usually in like a place where people are drunk. And so when she said that to me, I was like, I'm like, what? And she, and she's like, oh, well, you're older than me. I'm like, yeah, girl. But in my head, I was like, relax, like chill, but I don't just have patience anymore. So I don't think I'm a mentorship like perfect staple of it. I also don't have like I'm in a very selfish era. Maybe like catch me on the flip side in like a year and I'll be more like centered. But right now I'm like, leave me alone. Cause I'm like, I'm coming and I'm like recreating, I'm repurposing and recreating myself. So, I'm down to always give people advice, but it's not going to come out the most clean, beautiful, cutest way right now.
Okay. My original like friends of mine, and I'm sure yours as well, as they get older, they get families, they get kids, whatever, and they move on and don't come out to nightclubs or even events or even daytime events and stuff like that. So I find myself personally like having to like re-up acquaintances and friends over and over. I feel like a vampire. Like I stay the same age, everybody else gets older, but I just keep staying the same age. Do you ever feel like that? Like you have to constantly meet new people and...
For sure. And I mean, I think being a woman too, it's weird, right? Because then everyone's getting pregnant or getting married or whatever. And I feel you. Yeah. I mean, you look at Facebook and it's like embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. I mean, I use that kind of wordage here, but it's enlightening to see what other people are doing that you used to like go to high school with or something. But I'm truly starting from scratch, so much of my life, I feel like, again, it was chaos. And I also was surviving off of like what was given to me. So I, maybe about 2 years ago, had to create new boundaries for myself. I also thought, I didn't even know what boundaries were if I really think back on it. And that's again why I'm still on this apology tour where I'm like, hey, I remember when I used to invite you to that party. I used to be the friend that be like, come to my party on Friday. Be like, no, I don't know. I'm not feeling well. Oh, come on. You're being a little emo. Stop being not fun. Come on. It'll be fun. I promise I'll take care of you. I'll give you free drinks and then I'll buy you food and then come on. And they were like, no, thank you. I don't want to. And I'm like, man, you're never fun. You never come out. I was like that. And now I recognize that these people were putting boundaries up and were saying, I'm not comfortable, please. No, thank you. And I was like not respecting those. So I created boundaries and I lost a lot of friends. And it's very unfortunate because I think boundaries are an expression of love, an expression of telling you, hey, I love you. I'm trying to tell you how to love me so we can have like a healthy, loving friendship together. So I'm actively recruiting new healthy friends and I would love to make new friends, but with this new version of who I am, because I do feel like it's the most best, respectful, happy, well, self-aware person. So yeah, I need new friends, but also I'm okay and I like being with myself too.
All right. And you also talked about you dating sites before. What was your dating app of choice?
Oh Lord. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm on Raya right now.
Dude, how'd you get on Raya? That's what I want to know. What did you have a hookup or something? What's up? Is it harder for dudes to get on Raya? Because back when I was trying, I never quite made the cut, man.
I can send you a little,
I'm good. I don't need that one. I have a girlfriend, but yeah, dude.
Well, I lied because I actually quit Raya a couple months ago. I'm on a Hinge now, but I was on Raya and I remember I was on it in the beginning, and then I don't know. It was easy to get on it, but I think because I was like early on, and then it was cheaper too. It was like maybe $10 a month, but now if you join it, it's $20 a month, and nobody really says anything. You just go in circles talking, hey. So it's such a waste of time. I was just on it to like clout and like look at who was on it and be nosy, but I decided to cancel it because I'm like, yo, I'm spending $20 a month just to be nosy, and then of course, as life is, I saw my homeboy who used to work at Nike works at Hinge now. And so when I saw he worked at Hinge, I was like, yo, what's up? You got like the hookup? He's like, yeah, do you need like, if you want a Hinge X membership, I got you. So I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I want the Hinge X membership. So I went on Hinge, I made a profile and I have like the paid membership.
Okay,
but he hooked it up.
You got the super VIP
I got
Hinge?
the VIP hookup at Hinge. So I've been testing out my chatting. Hi.
Man,
I be wasting people's time, to be honest. I waste people's time.
It's a video game. It's fun.
It's a video game.
It doesn't have to like equal anything in real life.
Yeah.
But you said you needed somebody. I've heard you say that you needed somebody creative. Have you changed your opinion at all? Can you be with a regular guy now?
I'm open to just healthy people. You know, I have by a fault used to be attracted to cool people. Whatever cool people means, it's so stupid and subjective, but I like the cool guy. But the cool guys are losers. And the cool guys are bums. So I'm not into cool guys no more. I'll take a nice uncool guy with maybe particularly some kind of steady income and maybe like goes to therapy or something. I'm okay with a non-cool guy, so I'll take that guy that wears Vans or something.
Okay.
I don't know what they wear.
I'm gonna bring Vans back. Vans are popping, just like the pack told us. Do you ever look back at your Tumblr?
I saw you put up something really quick there. See, this is old though. I think I was gonna this isn't old.
But look at this. Have you read this recently?
No, I don't want to.
Okay, because you say a lot of things. You talk about like alcohol. You talk about all this stuff, but I feel like you've changed or completed a lot of goals that you talk about in here, and it's crazy. Like if you look at yourself now, compared, and this is only 2 years ago, so I don't know, man. Maybe you should check out your Tumblr.
Maybe I should
look at some of this stuff. Look at these parties.
Well, yeah,
Basil Paradise.
Yeah, it used to be linked to the website, so that's why I was like, oh, this is cool. But yeah, it is really cool to see those kinds of things. I told myself I was gonna secretly start writing stuff and make it like a diary, but then I never continued to do it.
I think you should check it out. And your Art Basel guide, you seem a little frustrated this year. Do you think people jacked your idea, or you just don't care anymore?
I didn't care because I make money, but it was annoying trying to like make sure people don't copy and take it. But I make a couple $1,000s off of it.
Okay.
Honestly was a genius idea, but I'm grateful that I can give people like a key to the city, basically.
All right. You were known, or maybe you are still known as the curator of cool. That was Norma now, or maybe is Norma now. What is cool now?
Not being cool.
All right.
I think so. Being chill.
Right. We win.
You know what I think too? Being cool is taking care of yourself. And I think that's like one of the many good things that came out of the pandemic is like never not working is so lame. Like you need rest, and you need to like, it's okay to have like a mental health day or whatever. But I think too, something that I'm sure you can observe from Miami, I think it's everywhere. Like I don't think overconsumption is as important. Like in every sense, right? Like clothing and like materialistic stuff, but like it's not cool to be so lit and drunk and drugs and show off and stuff like that. It's like cooler to take like quiet luxury, you know, and like, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like, I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's because I've changed, but like when I was younger, it used to be like, yo, who's getting the bottle? Let's do shots, table service. Like I want to be in VIP. Like that stuff is still relevant in certain spaces, but I don't know. I feel like people would way rather be in like a dirty warehouse party now than they would want to be in like a bottle, like a Tao nightclub or something. Like obviously there's spaces and stuff for that, but like I don't think that's as cool anymore. And so
like for any age, I don't think, like it's not just because you know you've done it all. I think even kids that are just starting don't like that vibe at this point.
Yeah.
So,
someone told me it's like because they don't have money.
Well, yeah, that's true for sure.
But I was like, how was we doing it? I was going to Mansion or whatever when I was 21, and I don't know, I would get in with the promoter and go drink free because I was a girl or something. But guys used to pay your $20 and you get in the club or whatever. But I just think like now when I think, honestly, it'll be Friday night. Let's say I even just feel like a little funky and it's Friday night and I want to go out. What is there to do on a Friday night? There's nothing to do. And I'll be like, what are the kids up to? And I'm like, where do I even look at where the kids are doing? I don't know what's happening. There's nothing happening. I can't, some people will be like, I don't even know. Someone will be like, yo, Catronata's in town. Oh, yo, this person's in town. Where can we take them? I'm like, I don't know. Go to Red Rooster, I guess. There's nothing else. Is that really what we have come down to? That is just go to Red Rooster and that's it. Like there's nothing here. So I don't know what the hell what's happening cool. But to me, I'm like, I think it's cool that I was at the gym at like 9 p.m. walking. I'm like, whatever. I find that way cooler because I mean that's what I'm saying. I'm like semi-retired, so I'd be like, look at this loser at the club, you know.
I know. I do that sometimes too. That's just because they didn't book me. So
Yeah.
that's so whack. That bottle service is so whack just because they won't book me at bottle service club. So I'm like, who wants to play? Who wants to play for promoters? They're so corny. I don't want to shout you out every 2 seconds, but deep down inside, I'm like, it's where the action is. But just not getting it, man. Well, you heard it here from Norma now. It's no longer cool to go out. All you DJs are going to lose your jobs soon. So it's time to transfer
I'm
into
sorry.
salaried positions, and maybe you can date Norma now as well. If you have a nice salary and you know the Lord and you go to therapy.
And you go to therapy, please.
How can people find you on social media? What would you like to direct them towards?
You can go on Instagram.com/Norma now. I was thinking about, should I change my name? And I'm like, damn. No, I can't.
Back to Norma is the best.
Right? That was honestly, that should just go back to that is who I am. Norma is the best.
Yeah.
And I feel like Instagram. Don't go on my TikTok because I'm just ranting about someone cutting me off and like how sober I am, and it's killing me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining the Complete Animals. We started over again. I'm glad you are the first guest, and it was fun to like kind of, because I've always seen you around, and it was dope, and I kind of knew like what you're about, but it's good to hear that I think we're on the same wavelength, and maybe a lot of people are on the same wavelength, and we don't even know it, you know?
No, thank you. I'm glad that we got to connect, and in a way that we can actually chat. There's not a loud room here, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Doesn't this? I usually am just like, this party's not good, or this party's okay. Now we know more about each other.
That's right. Cool. All right, man. Complete Animals. See ya.
Bye.